The one thing I wish that I knew before moving to Mexico about Spanish is that just moving to Mexico is not gonna just download Spanish. I'm just gonna learn Spanish instantly. It doesn't work like that at all. So when I moved to Mexico, I didn't really, I took Spanish classes, but I didn't really speak Spanish. Everybody says, "Oh, just move to a Spanish-speaking country, and you'll just learn Spanish like that. You'll just do like." It doesn't really work like that at all. Trust me. I know people who've lived in Mexico, or whatever other Spanish-speaking country for years. They don't speak any Spanish, right? And you got to ask yourself, like, why is that, right? So, from my experience, is that people don't actually practice speaking Spanish, right? And as somebody who's an American, like if you watch any part of American Expat, right? And you want to live in Mexico and you want to speak Spanish confidently. The reason none of this works is because you're not being taught how to speak Spanish. It's really like that simple. A lot of people, they just want to like go to listen to podcasts and things like that. I mean, that's like I said, it helps, but it's not that core driver. You know what I'm saying? Like you got a car. Yeah, a car has windows, has steering wheel, but like the main thing that moves it is that engine. You need a core engine that's going to progress your Spanish learning. You need an engine that's going to power it up and just keep stacking and stacking and stacking and get you from point A to point B, right? Another thing I wish I knew was that I don't have to try to be fluent, right? Like what I mean by that, like sound native, right? Like it's cool to sound like people you're around, and I've incorporated that, but it's not a necessity. The necessity is communicating your thoughts, wants, desires, and needs. That's the necessity. The necessity is being able to build friendships, build partnerships, relationships, and experiencing cultures and enriching yourself. That's what it is. You don't have to sound like the president of Mexico, like a politician or anything like that, in order to effectively communicate. So what I started doing, a lot of times less is more. That's another thing too. Less is more. You don't have to say a whole bunch of words. That's another main thing I wish I'd have known. I tried to like really translate English to Spanish. Like I would have like this really complex thing I wanted, like not complex, but like a lot of words, right? But in Spanish, it's a lot less. I'll give you an example. So I was on a bus one time and there was this kid, he was like leaning on me. I mean, he was just like, I don't know what was over this. He was getting out of high school. I guess he was just, or like, I don't know. I guess he had a long day. He just kept leaning and leaning and leaning all up on me. And like, I don't know. All I said was, "Estás bien?" That's all I said was two words. "Estás bien?" Are you good? Are you okay? And he looked at me like, oh snap. Like he realized that wasn't, you know, what he needs to be doing. Another story, same on the bus as well, or was it a train? I can't remember. But there was this kid, he was just acting up. And I said, "Hijo." That's all I said. And I remember seeing like, an older Mexican, I think he was like a grandpa, he was talking to his grandson and he was acting up. And he told him, "Hijo," "Hijo," like, you know what I mean? Like son or whatever, right? And I said that to him as a little kid. I said, "Hijo." That's all I said. And he just looked at me. He was like, "Oh snap!" He started acting right. So it's like you really don't even need to like worry about these long, complicated, conversations, these sentences, because like in English, everybody wants to sound like they're just the smartest motherfucker in the world. Everybody wants to talk like they're smarter than you, and be grammar police and all that stuff. But in reality, though, in the beginning, that's none of that's really necessary. You need to get small wins. Whatever you're trying to communicate, if you're at like a taco stand, you're at a restaurant, you're at a coffee shop, you need to get them wins. You need to like, okay, quiero un taco con pollo. I want a taco with, you know, I want a taco with chicken, sin cebolla, without onions, or con todo. I want everything, with everything. That's what you start stacking those wins up. You start to, you know, build and build, and then you start to, add a little bit more. Then you start to getting yourself in more conversations, one on one, and you get the group conversations. And you start to get into random conversations, like just somebody, like I said before, on the train or the bus, or there's Spanish all around. If you listen to this and you living in Mexico and you trying to learn Spanish, there's Spanish all around. There's really no excuse. Even if you weren't in Mexico, if you're an American watching this, there's Spanish all around you. There's really no excuse. And there's so many opportunities to learn Spanish. The problem is you don't see the opportunities because, like I said before, what I wish I knew, I would all that stuff I learned in school, high school, college. I would just do that. I would have just deleted all that shit out of my brain. The only thing I guess maybe was cool, I guess some of the conjugations. I think we all probably know conjugations at this point, and we know how to use them. But even then, though, there's even different types of conjugations, right? For different, past tense, imperfect, preferred. I think I pronounced it right. Different moods, injunctive, all these indicative things like that, imperative. So it's more than that. Sorry. So I'm probably screwed up next video. But yeah, so yeah, that's really what it is, y'all. So what you need to do, you need a Spanish learning system. It's what I talk about, it's what I promote. The Spanish learning system I have, this is what I use. It got me speaking confidently in Spanish. I'm speaking Spanish. I can go to any Spanish speaking country in the world and I'm good to go. I can go to any area, anybody. I can talk fluent. I can talk Spanish. I can express my needs, wants, desires, and I can help translate their needs, wants, and desires so many different times. I'm essentially I'm like the volunteer translator when it comes to the airport. You would think the airport would have more translators, but it's actually kind of quite common. Like when I'm in the airport, I'm always helping somebody speak Spanish, like translate, like what gate they go to, or what they need to do, how they need to do it. You would think that it wouldn't be that, but it is. So yeah, that's what it is. So I wish I would have known that before Spanish. Wish I would have had a Spanish learning system like the one I have, the link in the description box below, because it would have allowed me to stop wasting time, stop wasting money, stop being frustrated, stop wasting years of just nonsense, just grammar drills, Duolingo challenges, and just all this other silly stuff that doesn't really get you speaking Spanish. Like I always say, when you say you want to learn Spanish, what you really mean you want to speak Spanish. So what we have to do, we have to get you to speaking Spanish as fast as possible. Get you to stack those wins. And the quicker you stack those wins, the quicker you're speaking Spanish, the longer you're going to stay engaged. And the longer you stay engaged, because you're going to need to stay engaged to learn Spanish, because it's not it's not a 30-day learn Spanish thing. This is going to be a lifetime thing. But the beautiful thing about it is that, because like myself, I'm still learning Spanish, right? That's beautiful. I think it's beautiful that I'm still learning Spanish today. There are still things that I'm learning, still words, still phrases that I'm learning. But the beautiful thing is nobody can take this from me. And nobody can take this from you if you actually learn Spanish. It's the beautiful thing about it. So however old you are, you're not too old. And hey, the time's going to pass by anyway. Might as well add Spanish to your life. It's going to enrich it. It's going to make it a whole lot better. Trust me. It's all right, y'all. It's your boy Lou, man. Like I said, check the link in the description box below. Get my Spanish learning system guide. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.